My name is Cindy, and I can't do math. I can't do math because I'm a cheater. Or I once was. See, back when I was 7 years old in second grade, I couldn't do math then either. But at that point, nobody else could. Except my best friend, Audriana Richardson. She loved math. And so when she watched me struggle on these awful math worksheets, think 7 and 6, well, she offered to help me. Now, being a 7-year-old, my sense of morality wasn't yet solidified. And so I knew that cheating was wrong because my parents had told me so, but that was about it. So I let her do my homework for me. And it was awesome, though I did feel a little bit guilty. But I didn't have to do my math homework. So everything was awesome until my mom picked me up from school, and she, being an elementary school teacher herself, did what she did every day after school, which was grade my math homework for me. Except this time I didn't want her to because I knew that I was gonna get caught. You see, adults know everything, and so I tried to stall. I flipped through my Trapper Keeper a couple times, and then the gig was up. Okay, so I gave my mom my math homework. I reached up to her and I stood there all quivering in my rainbow bright Velcro tennis shoes, watching her grade my math homework on the counter, which was about this high above my eye level. And the amazing thing about that, staring up at my mom, is that she's 5 feet tall. So anyway, I was here staring up at her, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to get spanked because I wasn't yet old enough for grounding to take effect. And I was worried about this, and she looked down at me, and I looked up at her, and she looked down at me, and I was like, oh my God! And then she said, wow, you're finally getting better at math. Well, Audriana Richardson was getting better at math. Anyway, I knew that sooner or later I was gonna get caught. It's like joyriding with a stolen car. Okay, a stolen car from Mayor Goodman's collection. You know that sooner or later you're gonna get caught, so you might as well just drive as far as you can, as fast as you can, and have as much fun in the process. But I never got caught. And Audriana Richardson did my math homework for me all the way through second grade. When the summer of second grade, she moved away. But I'd gotten away with it until the first grade of third grade. And I realized that the tricky thing about math is that it's cumulative. So in third grade, you had to know addition, you had to know subtraction, and then all the other crap that they taught you. Well, I still didn't know addition or subtraction. I was here counting on my fingers still, but I learned my lesson. I made sure to really memorize my multiplication and division tables, so I can tell you right now that 8 times 4 is 32, and don't you ever tell me anything different. So it was fine. I mean, I now had a secret disability, but it was fine. I kind of somehow skated through life on my literary ability or something. And there's a few close calls, 6th grade, I was playing Monopoly with my mom, and I rolled a 6 and a 4, and I couldn't tell if that was going to get me to Park Place or not, and I tried to hide it, but she caught me. And then she was horrified, and she mumbled this whole thing about the failure of the American education system, and that's when I took my disability underground. Fast forward, well, I can't actually tell you how many years, but jump to 2 years ago. I was fresh off the boat in Las Vegas. I had a newly minted master's degree, and I was trying to be a journalist, which meant that I had about $5 to my name, though who's counting, and I lived at my parents' house. It being almost exactly 2 years ago, I found a job at a costume shop. They were doing a temporary 1-week employee sort of thing for Halloween. And they hired me on the spot when I told them I had a college degree. I didn't actually tell them about the master's part because that was too embarrassing. So anyway, I show up to work the very next day, and I'm all excited because I love Halloween. And then they sit me at the cash register. Except that it's not a cash register, because this is old school Vegas Halloween shop. It's an adding machine and a cash drawer. I was never exactly sure what the adding machine did, but it didn't add. And so, like, I was nervous, but I just, I needed the $7.50 an hour, okay? And so the first customer shows up at like 9 a.m. Princess Leia costume, $64.99. She gives me a $100 bill. I tried to do something with the adding machine. I think it was supposed to do tax, but I'm not really sure what happened. I did my best with the change, wished her a happy Halloween, and I'm sure she had one with that discount she got. And so, like, I had an awesome day at this job, actually, because I love people. I love to play dress up, and it was like my dream job. Until the end of the day, when the Halloween store closed, the owner, like, turned off the sign and locked the door and said, "Hey, Cindy, can you count the cash drawer?" So I did. Okay, because it's Halloween, they had $400 in the cash drawer. I counted it, and it was like $336. So I knew that I couldn't count very well, so I counted again. This time using the change, because I thought maybe that's where all the money went. So I got $336 and like 75 cents. I don't know, maybe a couple pennies. I didn't count it again. I tried to like wish I was somewhere else, guided visualization, pretended I was Princess Leia. None of it worked. Eventually, the owner came up to me and he was like, "So it was 400, right?" And I'm like, So he counted it himself much, much more quickly than I did, and he also got $336, and he kind of like stared at me, and I stared into the like bin of party fake eyelashes, and he kept staring at me, and finally I had to like look back at him, and I was like cursing damn Adriana Richardson, who's probably a mathematician somewhere in Utah, and he's like, "This only counts up to 336. What happened?" And I'm like, I think I must have added wrong. And he's like, "Well, it's not hard. See, you go 25, 36, 42, blah, 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 and that's how you make change." And I was like, at that point, I think like a single poetic tear like ran down my face, and I felt awful. And I don't know, it was just horrible, the worst feeling in the world. And he looks at me and he's like, "It's okay. Your first time, we eat it. The next time, it's on you." So I went home to my parents' house, and it turns out that my stepmom used to run this like chain of car washes, and which pretty meant her entire job was to make change. So we spent the entire evening with my stepmom, this is 2 years ago, mind you, teaching me how to make change. We had all these like quarters and dimes and pennies out and like a $20 bill, whatever we had in the house. And like it was awful. There were like tears and anxiety and mathematics, and like I was gonna try my damn best though. And so the next day I showed up at work like this grim determination, and I see another girl at the cash register. They had hired somebody else, and I was so relieved, because I knew that no matter how much I practiced with my stepmom, and no matter how many fuzzy eyelashes I stared into, the very next day there would have been something missing, and I don't know how much it would have been, but even without math, I would have known it was a lot. Thank you.